Hello everyone. It's May 3rd, Saturday. This is your host, Sananani, tuning in. Guess what? Today I'm super excited to introduce. Oh, hi. It sounds a bit touchy, but trust me, it's fascinating. Okay, so the title is, alright, get ready for it. AsyReC, a multimodal graph-based framework for Spatio temporal symmetry. Dyadic relationship classification. Phew, and the crawl is arXiv 45 04.5031. Yeah, it's a long one. So what's this paper even about? Well, you know how computers try to understand how people interact in videos. Why these two people friends, strangers, or maybe even really good friends? It turns out it's super tricky for AI. Current methods have some big challenges. First, relationships aren't always mutual, right? Maybe person A thinks person B is their bestie, but person B just sees it as an acquaintance. Ouch! Most AI models tend to assume relationships are symmetric, and they totally miss these one-sided feelings. That's challenge one. Second, imagine trying to understand a movie by only looking at one picture every second. You'd miss so much. A lot of car AI does something similar, sampling frames from videos. This breaks the flow and misses how interactions and relationships actually develop over time. That's challenge two. And third, people have rhythms in how they interact. Maybe they gesture in a certain pattern, or their voices go up and down a cycle when they chat. These periodic cues are super important, but most methods don't really look for them. Challenge 3. So, this paper introduces AsyReC. It's like a super smart detective for relationships and videos. How does it work? It's got some cool tricks. First, it uses multimodal information. That means it looks at everything, like facial expressions, body language, what people are saying, and even how they sound. Then, it uses graphs, kind of like social network maps, to connect the dots between people and their actions. And here's the genius part for challenge 1. It has a special graph network with, dual attention. This helps to figure out those tricky asymmetric relationships, paying attention to how each person acts and interacts differently. To tackle challenge 2, Kazu looks at videos in continuous clips, not just single frames. This way, it keeps the interaction flowing and can see how things change moment by moment. Much better, right? Then for challenge 3, the periodic stuff, it uses something called a periodic temporal encoder. Basically, it uses math waves, like sine and cosine, to spot those repeating patterns and rhythms in interactions over time. Super clever, okay. But why is this useful in real life? There are tons of possibilities. First, imagine socially smart robots. Robots that can actually understand if you see them as a helper. Or maybe just a machine, and interact appropriately. That would be way less awkward, right? Second, think about video streaming services, like YouTube or Netflix. This tech could automatically figure out the relationships between characters in a movie or series. Like who's dating who are rivals who are family. That could be used for better recommendations or summaries. Third, how about Vernar? Imagine avatars in a virtual world or game that actually react differently to you based on your relationship. If you're friends, they might be warmer. But if you're strangers, they might be more reserved. It would make virtual interactions feel so much more real. Maybe you could even analyze video conference calls to see how well a team is collaborating. That's kinda cool. So, how does AsyReC compare to older stuff? Well, older methods often just looked at static images, which totally missed the dynamics. Other video methods often assumed relationships were symmetric, or they struggle with long videos because they just accumulated information, sometimes including noise. AsyReC is way more advanced because it specifically tackles asymmetry, uses continuous clips for better flow, and cleverly spots those periodic The paper shows it performs way better, achieving state-of-the-art results. with like a 48.2% par on one dataset and 59.4% on another. That's a big jump. So yeah, that's the scoop on AsyReC. It's a really neat step towards AI that can truly understand the complex world of human social relationships from videos. That's all the time we have for today. This was Sannoani. Hoping you found that interesting. Catch you next time. Bye-bye.